Good day, folks. And the sun is out and it is nice. 58 degrees when I walked out the door. And the wind, probably I didn't check the wind factor or the real feel or any of that kind of stuff, but I imagine it's down around 50. So we're drinking and smoking. All kind of things. £20 of chicken. And I'm really pleased about the way it's looking right now. While I was standing out here, I happened to notice an out of season, let's see if I can get a shot of him, lantana up in amongst here. And I've mentioned several times about the fact that we just have had a really mild winter so far, and things are kind of way out of whack. Easter lilies that my mother had given me years ago are coming up there, and maybe they'll bloom at Easter this year. Usually they're way later. They're the ones you get in the store and all are forced to bloom early. They actually are an Asian lily that came in through Bermuda. Some sea captain brought some into Bermuda for his wife, and they kind of propagated from there, and somebody, I think it was, I don't remember if it was Baltimore or Boston, that got them and started with forcing them for Easter lilies. This is a wild huckleberry, and like I said, it's way out of whack as far as the season goes. I just hope that my blueberries out here, several times this past few years, we've had the spring weather like this, which this week I was in the 82 days, and limbs like this is what is powering the smoker. So I've actually cleaned up some yard today. Picked up a few limbs and burned them in the smoker. But talking about the Easter lilies up there, my mother gave them to me years ago, and I planted the pot. They were in a pot, and I planted it up there, and they have spread, and I've shared out some and repotted a few here and there. But ever so often, the pine straw about smothers them up there, and I have to see about taking them apart or cleaning up. And usually when I clean up, I end up breaking the bulb apart some, and I'll pot some up. This is the buds on my bridal wreath, and I mentioned the forsythia the other day, and it's so easy to root. I thought about showing you I've had problems with my apple trees. They've got some disease into them. I really need to do a little more work with it, but the apple tree back there in the back is just covered with blooms. And I don't know if you can see all the honeybees and everything else that's around the flowers or not. water blooms. I just love how compact and formed these flowers are. See if I can get a better view of one. Keep getting all the shade and everything else. There's a pretty good shot of it. Talk about uniformity. My peppermint's up in here. I'm getting more red than peppermint. And I've shared out some seed for camellias in some of the boxes that I've mailed lately. And a lot of the seed came off of this peppermint. And it's one of the only ones that has flowered that I've gotten a plant up from seed. And the plant from seed actually is peppermint. First year it only had 1 or 2 blooms on it, and they were the peppermint looking bloom. And then last year it had a lot, and it had a bunch of the red ones also. And I figured that my plant here was grafted, and maybe 1 limb was the peppermint, and the rest, and it came out with the red on the other side of the graft. But the one that I did from seed having both blooms on, and I've noticed some of these limbs that do have the peppermint just a few inches above or below it, I have a red flower sometimes. So it's just one of the mysteries of life, I guess. But that's what I'm up to today. Like I said, just smoking and drinking. Enjoying life. The first one of those purple magnolia, whatever it is, I got was here, and I rooted I don't know how many of them, and then that tree died from a scale that it got that had boars that bored into the trunks and killed it. And the same thing happened to my banana shrubs, the 2 originals I had over here. The same thing, and I tried all kind of stuff. I did even go to chemical sprays, and I could never find anything that would kill them. And then I rooted a bunch of the banana shrub, and I have, I think it's 4 or 5 around the yard. And this is a variegated silverberry bush, and it does have fruit, but usually I don't get any because of the birds. But the green one, and it had, talking about mutations or whatever, it has some, there's one of the limbs. The older one, or silverberry bush that's not variegated, looks like that. It's a solid green leaf, and here's one, and they have way more fruit, and that was what I was looking for. It has a little diamond-shaped flower in the fall, and I don't know if I can get a good shot of it or not, but there's one of the little fruits right there, and still has the flower on the end of it, and it's kind of a diamond-shaped little flower. And that's a limb. I thought this tree was another one. This is another banana shrub in here, and I thought it was totally dead, but it's still got some green up in here that I hadn't noticed until today. But this is another. My neighbor had one or two of these silver berries like that, the solid green ones, and they would just be loaded with more fruit than the birds could eat. And they kind of taste like a kiwi, and the little fruit, when it gets up, resembles a really tiny kiwi. I don't know if there's any kind of relation. I'm just saying. Well, I'm gonna get back to my cooking. Everybody have a blessed day and be safe.